Welcome back, everybody, to the Overwatch World Cup 2019. We have the final game of the night, and believe me, it's been quite a day of action. I am Bren, joined by Sideshow. You may recognize our voices from the Overwatch League desk, as it's usually been portrayed, but this time around, we're going to be bringing the action live, and we have a great match, actually. Netherlands versus Finland. I think any year you get this matchup, it's bound to be a good one. And this year is no exception, as we've watched Finland look a little bit shaky. They've got a few players missing, but they're putting them in some unorthodox roles. And the Netherlands also coming off the back of a deceptively close game against Saudi Arabia.
I definitely have to agree with you there. I think Finland would be everybody's favorite to come out of this bracket, and yet with Davin out of the lineup for personal reasons and them having to rely on Ricky and RCK normally an off-tank, there were question marks. But Finland had a close game against Singapore and then were able to get the advantage over them.
Yeah. Quick little counter-punch here from Facility as he tries to launch his way in, but the overwhelming damage from Finland, they're walking over the point and are able to bring down Dams quite easily. Now, still clutchable for them, though. 8-10 into the backline, Crusade as well. These are some great pickups that the Netherlands is managing to find.
Not monitoring the flank there, Zappis. Not in a position to shut down different DPS players as 8-10 went for a flank play. And Cloudy's been punched as well. Down to half health. As long as Facility and 8-10 stay alive, there's still a chance for them in this fight.
Absolutely still a chance. In fact, I think it's looking relatively likely. I mean, the Coalescence is going to come out now from Finland, trying to close this one out. Dan's falling very, very low. Crusade as well. Incredibly weak, but the Netherlands are still kiting, still finding the opportunities to come back into this fight now. Dan's resetting the shield in a couple of seconds, just off cooldown, goes for the halt. Kinetic Glass from Finland now opting to use the Gravitic Flux. We're going to see what value you can get, but the Netherlands end up using their sound barrier just to equate it.
But they're not going forwards. They had an advantage there. They used the sound barrier. Massa was only at 60%, but they didn't get any value out of it. The longer this fight goes, the more that Massa's sound barrier is starting to tick up. But that kill on Cloudy is exactly what the Netherlands need to be able to secure the fight win in the end.
Well, we'll see, though.
Just to...
Whoa! I don't know about this one, Josh. Hold your horses, pal. Hold your horses. RCK comes out with the 2K. He's looking for a third. The accretion just about misses, and finally, the Netherlands look like they're in a position to close out this fight. One of the longest team fights that we've seen thus far at the Overwatch World Cup, but the Netherlands finally capped the initial first point.
Well, that was the initial fight, the very first fight, and we saw multiple coalescences be used, a sound barrier come out from Crusade, a flux from Zappis, and in the end, a kill for Cloudy, and then a couple of plays from Brussen, who has been playing well this entire tournament, by the way. Brussen, the off-tank, playing on Sigma, getting a lot of value done. And it's a win for Netherlands.
Yeah, Finland going for a lot of these engages, crossing over to Doomfist, but it's going to be Cloudy who goes down first again. Losing your Orisa first in these engagements is definitely not ideal. You're losing a lot of shield mitigation, and you can see the rest of the players will just fall like flies. But it needs mentioning as well that the Netherlands was the one team that, when I asked Team Russia about it, they said that they expected the Netherlands to go very far, a team that people were sleeping on throughout this tournament. They've proven it in spades. They've made it to the grand finals of their group so far in the preliminaries against Finland. Some of the top teams looking to go even further. So far, very, very solid showing. You see the supercharger now being laid down by the Netherlands. Sound barrier to add to this from Finland. Seeing if they can offset a lot of the damage that's going to be going in, but it's so potent. Facility with a meteor strike manages to find a pick onto RCK. The engagement is wonderful. 8-10 looking for an off angle to see if he can offload this Death Blossom. Going to teleport into the backlines. The Q is ready and waiting, but he opts to use the Rayform instead. That is a cheeky play.
But Finland are doing nothing here. They use their sound barrier just to engage. The Flux is still alive for them. Yes, the Death Blossom was kind of negated, but it still finds Massa in the fight. And Finland just look like they don't know what they're doing. Netherlands are running all over them here.
This is brutal for Finland, and this is a team that have looked a little bit shaky in these control maps. I mean, it's 87% and counting. There's not going to be a sound barrier to offset this, but where are the players to try and clean up some of this damage that's being done by that Gravitic Flux? Finland do not have the necessary players to try and deal damage to them in that moment.
If they can get on the point within the last second and trigger this overtime, they will have a supercharger and a Death Blossom to use. Ricky, it's all down to him. What value can he find with this? He's not on the flank. He Wraith forms in. Oh, he gets stunned immediately.
Word. No Death Blossom available, but I think Finland will still be able to clean up the rest of these kills. Luckily, the supercharger is still active on the point, and they are going to be able to flip it. But that is a brutal round if you are Finland, because not only did you not manage to flip that point even once, now the Netherlands are going to be working their way into this next fight with quite a lot of ultimate advantage. If you look at the percentages, they're much closer to a lot of these key ultimates than Finland are themselves.
Yep. I've been keeping an eye on Brusson throughout this tournament as well. I think in this meta what you need is an excellent Doomfist or Mei player, and then you also need an excellent Sigma. He's been performing at a good level for the Netherlands.
Massa trying to farm up the sound barrier, Zappis as well trying to get these off angles, a little bit of poke damage, build up that gravitic flux. It's one of the key win conditions right now for them, but it's going to be the Coalescence. Early on being led by the Netherlands, off angles being taken by Ricky as he works his way around the left flank. Sound barrier to add to this. Netherlands want to try and take this fight despite losing a 10. Question is, can they clutch it out? Now we see the meteor strike being used in a defensive fashion by Facilities. Can they try and at least organize it with any other ability? It looks like Finland might be coming out on top here. RCK claims 1 kill, but it still could be anyone's game as Facilities clutching it up.
Zappis whiffed a gravitic flux in the middle of that as well. Caught absolutely nobody.
Netherlands are doing it.
Finland should have had the advantage, but they threw their ults away. They didn't get value out of the sound barrier, didn't get value out of the flux, and now Netherlands are on the point.
Oh my god, Bruce, no, he used his grenade flux, and he dies just at the right moment. He pumps it. He thought he could turn it, but he wasn't paying close enough attention to his health. Brought down, that is actually a critical mistake, and it's
really
given
is.
Finland an in.
Yep, Ricky coming up huge at the end there as well. Not a Mei
That's
one trick
absurd.
anymore. He has found his success on Team Finland, playing a couple of different characters for them. The Bastion, the Reaper, the Mei. And now Finland have to hold. This is the final fight territory, and their main tank is on Wrecking Ball.
Pile driver comes down from Cloudy. It's desperation efforts. But
They
by
kick-
word, Crusade goes down. That's like a sound barrier, like a speed boost, I should say. Now the death blossom from Ricky, and he comes up huge. 2 kills for Ricky, and Finland are still in it. The pride of Finland, some might say. In this scenario, at least, he's kept them in the match, not only cancelling Bruson's gravitic flux earlier, but also coming up clutch when needed.
And huge plays by Finland. The mental resilience to be able to bring that back from 99 to 0 is enormous. They still have a fight on their hands though. They have to be able to clean up these stragglers without losing key players. A lot of focus going on to RCK here.
It's a straggler characters that they're going to be playing, just trying to work their way on the point, the Reinhardt, the Wrecking Ball, the Tracer. It's all coming out from the Netherlands, but it's not good enough. Finland are going to be able to clean up the rest of these players, and they secure the first round in this control map. Absurd. We saw the exact same scenario happen when they played against Singapore. The exact same scenario.
Yes, exactly the same. It seems like Finland take a little time to warm up, and they are not very good at the beginning in those neutral fights. But once they're in control of the ultimate game, and once they're in control of the point, they apply enough pressure with Zappis taking slight off angles and Ricky going on flanks to the point where they can win, but it's always super scrappy. It's never clean from Finland.
Never clean. But that's to be expected. I mean, they're missing a lot of their key players in key roles, a lot of flexing around in terms of positions as well. It's to be expected. It is not going to be as clean, as clinical as we'd had hoped from Finland coming into this tournament, but
Okay.
it still seems like it's good enough.
It's been
to try
a
and
long
take the
time
win.
since I've seen a Farah on Nepal's Sanctum.
Yeah, that's an odd one.
And a Bastion Mei on the other side from Finland. Very
Let's
interesting.
see how this works out for both sides. Going for some wacky compositions. Trispier ends up switching over to the Ana pretty late as well. Gonna be running back from the spawn.
Facility can use a lot of the terrain of this map, the architecture, to carry on doing a lot of damage. He's at 50% of his ult already. The closest person on his team is Dan's at 10. He is piling a huge amount of damage into Finland.
That's a fantastic halt. He connects it onto Zappis. Phenomenal plays all around. This is almost certainly going to be a one fight just off the back of that. And the point does get flipped over to the Netherlands. Immortality Field taken out. RCK very, very weak. One rocket finishes him off. Can he go for the second? The air shot almost there for Facilities. He's going for it. The battle of attrition is war is occurring. Fantastic rocket there from Facilities again. And he's coming up clutch when needed. He has a barrage. Not only that as well. Moving into this next fight, I mean, the Netherlands are in a prime position to just take away even more space from Finland. And you can see RCK making the necessary adjustments.
RCK and Cloudy switch heroes, now playing the McCree and the Wrecking Ball. That allows them to get aggressive on certain targets that are down on the floor. They want to win the ground fight and put pressure on Facilities, push them back. With Ricky and RCK, there's actually a lot of pressure on this Farah. But nearly got Holt rocked.
Yeah, almost rocked.
Flash the rock, that'll work.
The rock. I mean, it was a panic move. I think we've all been there. Ricky falling, another opening for the Netherlands here. I mean, you lose your damage-dealing players. It's not ideal for Finland. Still potentially workable if they manage to get an off-angle pick. But right now, Vazility has complete control of a lot of the geography of the map. He is still holding onto this barrage.
Yeah. And as soon as Finland actually commit, he can drop down with a barrage behind them and get a couple of crucial picks.
Yeah, we'll see though. A10 falls very low, has to come back for the heals. Going to try and contest the 1v1 against Ricky. Ricky not receiving the heals. Lifesteal in the end, helping out, coming in clutch. Netherlands currently holding 70% of the point. Soundbite now by Finland as they look to try and take this fight even further. See if they can do it. The high noon from opposite sides of the map. RCK takes down Crusade, and there should be enough picks going in the way of Finland for them to flip the point.
Somehow, the tank line of the Netherlands got overrun before Vazility could react. The idea there with the Fire, when they have barrage available, is if they go for your tanks, you can barrage onto their backline or barrage onto the DPS that are trying to kill your tanks, and the split attention means that you should get much more value out of the barrage. But unfortunately, he just wasn't quite there. He was still getting pushed away by the McCree from RCK, and he couldn't get the value.
Oh, Finland have to defend this, but Crusade comes out of nowhere. 2 kills straight to the bottomless pit of Sanctum. And that has secured this round easily right now for the Netherlands. I should say this team fight. The round's still in question, but with 85% on the meter, it's looking more and more likely that we will be going to a third and final round here on the ball.
Yeah, what an absolute legend. Crusade used to be at the top of his game in 2017, playing on a range of different teams. A real veteran presence for the Netherlands. Some might question his skill, but if he comes up with boops like that every now and then, absolutely nothing to worry about.
Accretion onto Cloudy. Push them up, but Bruce gets pushed into the corner, taken down almost immediately. No Griffith flux. Finland have come out storming at the gates, and they managed to retake this point. Actually, fantastic focus fire coming out from them.
But also, what was this positioning from the Netherlands? Why were they holding so far back? If you have a flux and the enemy team is forced to go to the point and through certain choke points, that is where you can get insane value from the gravitic flux. And instead, they hung back. Now, there is still a full minute for them to push with double support ult available and the gravitic flux and the Death Blossom. So you would still expect them to be able to find value in this fight. But they probably want to play it slow until Crusade has sound barrier.
RCK with the punch actually connects it. No fortify in time for the Netherlands. Now he has the meteor strike online, goes for the punch against the wall. Crusade still alive.
Crusade goes down before he can use sound barrier.
Stop, that is critical. Real turning point for Finland. They're looking like they're on the precipice of trying to take this map away.
Yeah, Crusade a little too aggressive there. Should have been playing a more passive position if their intention was to utilize that sound barrier. But they saved ults. They still have 5 available, and they managed to drag a Flux and Death Blossom out of Finland. So this is still possible here for either team, honestly. It all comes down to this engagement. Which team gets more value out of their sound barrier? In theory, it should be Netherlands, because they have the Flux to force one out of Massa.
We see the mines are available right now for Cloudy. You're right, Josh, it's all about the value of it. See what they can get done. Another great punch with the dance. The Fortify comes in too late. Taken out of action. Adapt the shields for Cloudy. Gonna try and pop them off straight into the mines. Brucing gets taken out once again. RCK coming up clutch as well. Just needs one solid punch. And that'll do it. A10 goes down. Meteor strike just to finish him off. Takes out the superchargers, as good as kill as any. Now just still working his way back at the point, but this looks turnover for the Netherlands. The Coalescent helping sustain them through this fight, 99% and counting.
Yeah, they've done it. I think the Finnish players are just dribbling back onto the point. Massa with a fast rollout to see if he can keep it going, but the overtime is turning down at 99% for both teams. The Netherlands had a fantastic showing.
The Reinhardt, the boop from Cloudy, straight off the edge of the map. Urissa's out of action. Once again, Boop's all over the bloody shop right now, and A10, he's got the Death Blossom. We'll see what he can do with it. And he comes up clutch. 2 kills in the end, securing it, and it goes to a third and final round here on the pole.
I gotta tell you, Bren, I love these games. When the individual skill is high, but the coordination is not, you have these fantastic moments where both teams try and clutch as much as they possibly can.
A polite way of saying what we like to call a clown fiesta in the industry. Because
yeah, but it's so fun.
It's a fun clown fiesta. I mean, clowns are supposed to be fun, Josh. I know it's Halloween, but
they're often scary.
At the end of the day, I should say, this is looking like an incredible series shaping up between 2 absolute juggernauts.
But we are now on the May map. When it comes to May, there is no better map the Nepal village. And Ricky may be one of the best maze in the entire world. He drove Clockwork Vendetta forwards with an insane maze strategy that honestly turned the entire tide of the meta in Overwatch.
Yep, absolutely. We'll see what they can do. The Netherlands, that is, to try and contest with this form. Maywall comes up, it's a defensive one. They're going to try and gain positioning with it.
Great halt!
Down with the
Halt into the freeze!
Blaster, there you go, the freeze is available already and waiting. The Fortify comes out from Finland, but it is far too late. And this looks like an easily won fight right now for the Netherlands.
Yeah, they have got all of the position early on in this fight, utilizing Coalescence as well, just to make sure that they clean people up and start that percentage ticking. It was a great halt into the freeze, honestly, is what did it. They set the Maywall so that there was a slight gap on the right-hand side, so it channeled everybody from Finland into one small area if they wanted to do damage. Then a beautiful halt from Dance, and all of that freeze just goes through everybody in the halt.
Now Finland going to be taking a rotation around the accretion.
So much damage.
A lot of damage. They're taking a lot of poke right now, and that's actually opened it up though. 810 is the one who goes down, gets caught out of position, playing a little bit too risque, if you will. The accretion brings him down. The Coalescence is going to try and seal the deal here. The accretion close range by Bruce and brought down. Great focus fire from Finland, taking him out before he can use the Graphitic Flux. And Finland coming out with a bang. Able to manage, able to retake this point eventually once they clean up a couple of these straggler players.
And that was a big mistake by A10. You absolutely cannot afford to die at the beginning of this fight. Comes in towards the end there, but obviously nothing that he can do. The issue with Reaper is, if you take aggressive positions and use your Wraith form, everybody on the opposing team knows that you now have no way of getting out of damage. So they just focus you as soon as the Wraith form is off. It's the same with Moira to some extent, but Reapers tend to take much more aggressive positions, and you just can't play like that. But Ricky can.
Look at this guy. I mean,
he's been baited.
Yeah, if there was ever a May 1 trick you want on your team, it would be Ricky, and he knows all the spots. He knows all the swings and roundabouts.
Looking to cleave the front line from the back line.
Okay, early Coalescence now trying to engage this one in, but it's traded by both teams. Now we see Superchargers placed down. It's complete pandemonium right now on the point. The Superchargers are finally taken out. Still Ricky clutching where it matters. Look at this, off the back of LA's Cloudy's tank play. The halts, the Superchargers, he's got it all necessary to set his team up for success.
Yeah, they did use the sound barrier in the middle of that, though, Team Finland. So they used that to make sure that their players survived when there was double Blizzard onto the point, which gives Netherlands a large opportunity. If Netherlands can win the next fight using one of the Flux or the sound barrier, they still have the next one in the fight afterwards. Ricky needs to help his team win the neutral, but they all just jump over it.
I mean, he gets rid of one of them, at least at the back. They got caught out of position. They're going to try and dive into them. The Gravitic Flux forced out defensively now from the Netherlands. Just to try and salvage this fight here. RCK almost caught out of position. Falls very, very low, but enough to just come back to the safe clutches of his team. The Wraith form helping him out there. And it's going to be another one team fight for Finland. And despite the fact that Finland have looked shaky, they have looked a little bit unpracticed, they are still coming out on top in these rounds that matter for control.
Yes, absolutely. That was a fight that determined the entire momentum of this map, let's be honest. Because if Finland had lost that, ult advantage vastly in favor of the Netherlands. Yep. But they won it without using any ults, just battered them in the neutral. And now this is a fair fight to decide who wins the poll.
I love this early Gravitic Flux comes out, forces the sound barrier out of Crusade. They're going to try and take this fight further forward. Zupe comes out with a Coalescence, but he's going to get frozen out of place. And the Netherlands with superior ult usage have managed to be able to cap this point out.
Yep.
A10 has been on point a lot of the time with these Death Blossoms. Now, a lot of this is his team setting him up as well for that, but he has been very crucial in Netherlands being able to take these rounds.
Yeah, we criticized him a little previously in this round because he took an aggressive position and ended up dying, but his Death Blossom timings, generally speaking, have been very good. And now Finland are pushing back in. They have the Blizzard to work with. But Dance is about to get up to his Supercharger as well. So is Cloudy, but things are about to get messy. This Blizzard, though, from Ricky is going to be the key.
Alex going to go down right now. Netherlands just poking the damage in. The Hulk comes out, forces Ice Block and Fade. 2 cooldowns they will not have. Shield's going to come down as well. The accretion gets blocked off. Now the Supercharger was built up, so Dan's wants to lead his team to victory. The accretion is perfect, but
so
RCK
close.
Just about gets the Wraith form off.
And they've
kited, zip away to the rest of his team.
They've kited the Supercharger from Dance perfectly. They can push back in with their own and the Blizzard.
They're falling very, very low though. Now the Blizzard comes
out.
Oh my word! I cannot believe that. The Blizzard gets 8. Ricky unable to really counteract and follow up off the back of it, and now the Gravitic Flux brings them up, takes them down. Bruce wants to seal the deal. He wants to take this map away from Finland, and it looks like he will do just that, providing his team can just focus down the appropriate players. The sound barrier will be the cherry on top. Massa so low. It's looking so damn good right now for the Netherlands.
Brusen, what an absolute animal! He eats the Blizzard, then hits 3 people in a Gravitic Flux, kills 2 at the end!
Oh my words.
What a legend for the Netherlands! What an absolute legend!
Ridiculous.
Netherlands, they had no right winning that round. They had no right winning that map. They were contesting, they were close, but when it really mattered, it looked like Finland were going to be able to take it. But one clutch play is the only thing that separates these 2 teams at the moment, and Brusen was the man when it mattered.
We saw Finland. They struggled in control maps against Singapore. They came out on top that time, but it was a very, very close series what ended up happening. Now we're up against the Netherlands, a tried and tested team, a team that's been lauded by a lot of other teams as one of the dark horses in this Overwatch World Cup, and are showing it with full force. Now, when we come back from the break, we're going to have the second map coming straight back at you. Welcome back to the Overwatch World Cup 2019. If you're just joining us, you are tuning in for an absolute banger of a match. We've, of course, got the Netherlands playing off against Finland here in the very final match of the night. Yes, Russia is still playing currently. I'm looking at Jaws and Leg Day right now, having a lovely time casting it, but this is the final match of the night as it stands, and it's going to decide a lot of the groups as well that we're going to be seeing tomorrow. I believe they're going to be slotted into Group B, whoever the winner is of this match. Now, it is currently 1-0 to Finland, And my word, what an astounding control map we've just witnessed.
1-0 to the Netherlands.
Sorry, to the Netherlands, sorry.
I mean, I forgive you for the mistake because it was an insanely close first map.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to go Finland's way, but already we're starting to see the beginnings, the rumblings of an upset here.
Yep.
It certainly would be an upset if Finland did not make the top 10, I think. That's what they're playing for here. Top 10 tomorrow plays round-robin groups in the same kind of group as your Chinas and your Canadas of the world. Winnable.
Multiple Chinas.
Multiple Chinas, multiple Canadas. Yeah. But we'll see what they're up to here. Finland, I've seen them run, we've seen them run these kind of compositions a lot before, where they were utilizing the Bastion and the Farah.
Yes.
And they looked good doing it.
First time we've casted King's Row today as well, so that'll be an interesting one. But we see the Bastion immediately having to rotate around here. The Concussion Blast pulls him back there with the Halt as well. Shaz going very low.
What a
But
pick!
Zen. Wow, okay, all right, Zupe goes down.
That burns the res though, and it means that if you get aggressive on either the Orisa player or aggressive onto the Bastion, that res is not going to be there.
Now Facility opting for a bit of the ground war as it stands, puts one rocket into RCK but forces him back. Now, very poking composition coming out for the Netherlands. We've seen a couple of teams actually running with this as an alternative, but now if you can win the Farah battle, it makes it much easier.
Great
Now
Halt.
There you go, that's what sets it up, and Dan's the man who was really helping them out there. Finland in the corner though, still with a fantastic defense. The Immortality Field is going to be keeping them up. The res is burned now for the Netherlands, still trying to work their way slowly across the point. They already have a tick.
Facility would like to play much more aggressive now that there is no fire on the other side, but he's still going to be worried about Shaz, who gets moved back to a lovely position, honestly. Able to do just a lot of damage to everybody else on the team. And the Orisa has gone down.
Here's the thing, the Orisa going down for Finland is a critical pickup, and Facility! 2 kills with the barrage. Can he get a third with just plain old rockets? I think it's more than likely, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I should say his team should do it. I mean, here's the thing. There's a caster Kirsten and there's that, you know. But the Netherlands are going to be able to take their point. They go 5 minutes on the clock to try and push this card now to the final checkpoint of King's Row.
Yep, 5 minutes is a long time as well. Finland's Bastion defense, they would have hoped for a lot more than that. And we're seeing this kind of heavy poke with the Fire and the Hanzo. You have to be very careful with how you position your players, but it's been effective so far whenever we've seen it used. And most teams have enough discipline. But here we go. Halt into Dragon Strike.
It's the King's Row classic. Hanzo played so much because of these choke points. They use the Dragon Strike, now the Graphitic Flux brings them up and brings them back down again, but actually not quite because they just died in the air. So they're not going to get brought down at all. The job was done for them. Finland going to try and turn this one around. The Meteor Strike is going to be used here in aggressive fashion behind them.
Actually getting picks.
This is actually winnable right now for Finland. Defending this one at the choke. I mean, the Netherlands might be forced to back off here.
The Netherlands didn't regroup. I mean, they have so much spawn advantage that they're still going to be able to progress. But the fact that Finland were even close to clutching that with only their 2 DPS and 1 support alive, that cannot be allowed to happen. The Netherlands need to regroup once they get this initial advantage in the fight.
Oh, great punch from RCK as well. He takes out Brusen. This guy's been a thorn in their side the entire time. His Sigma play, quite astounding. A bit of a standout performance actually so far across
I
the
would
World
totally
Cup.
agree.
And he's making some waves right now, taking him out of the fight. Definitely ideal for them. Now Finland, what have they got to work with? Well, they've got a Supercharge, they've got a Coalescence. We've seen this is a classic combo a lot of teams like to lead into. Almost always going to be winning a team fight when that happens, but here we have it. It's going to be the Trader Superchargers, both laid down for either side. This time though, Zupe going to be focusing down the enemy team Supercharger. They no longer have the damage advantage. Netherlands opt to play a little bit more patient, playing back in the choke, waiting for these ultimates to square out.
Yeah, and with Zappis down, they don't have this Gravitic Flux to play aggressive with, so Finland have to back off themselves. Give a little bit of room. And when Zappis is back, they may go for a Flux play. We'll see whether Crusade has his ult in time.
Shaz, Death Blossom ready, waiting, pumping in the damage as it stands, halts down onto the low ground. Facility finds big onto Cloudy. There's going to be no more Orisa, no more shields. Netherlands is just going to continue to roll this one forward.
Yeah, very optimistic, honestly, from Finland. They held the corner for way too long, and Cloudy just fell over, to borrow a phrase from Avast. He just fell over because they tried to hold a position where they didn't have the players and the spam available to be able to hold it. He doesn't have that second shield. They had to withdraw further, and instead the call was made to hold their ground and wait for Zappis to come back. They got overwhelmed, taking a 5v6.
I think my favorite Avast quote tonight has been, their hands, their hands, their hands. Talking about that.
Why am I focused so much on their hands? hands.
But here we have it. Finland's time to strike back. Riddick, Flux, Death Blossom, they're going to chuck everything into this.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly win the team fight. Try and stop it before the car pushes any further.
Flux is used for both teams, sound barriers to counter them, and it's really the DPS ults that make the difference there for Finland. And they still have a large opportunity to hold on at point B. This is a super defensible location. There are many ways in which the Netherlands, many corners that they have to approach, many avenues that Finland can harass them, force abilities out of them, and then engage onto them.
I mean, it's a spawn advantage as well right now. It's pretty much equal for both of these teams in terms of the distance. So it makes it a great place to defend from. Shah's going to get top back up again. Coalescence is going to be coming out any minute now, and there we have it. Like clockwork, both teams going to be unleashing it, seeing if they can hose each other down. Supercharger gets focused down again. Zupe being on
so
point.
Quickly.
He always focuses down this Supercharger instantly as it comes up, but there we have it. It's going to be the Death Blossom by the Netherlands. Jonah looking to see if he can get some value. A lot of damage being put down. Supercharger now for Finland. See if they can work their magic across the point. They have traded a 1-for-1 kill so far. Now playing patiently, just waiting around the corner, kiting it back. They want to wait for Cloudy Supercharger to fade, but it's too late for that. RCK is knocking on your door and says, hello.
How do you normally have people knock on your door? Do they normally break it down with a fist?
I mean, I'll be honest.
You have trouble with the police a lot, Bren?
They don't really say hello like I just did there, but
no.
Also, people don't really knock on my door.
No, they ring the doorbell.
Yeah, yes, yeah, they do.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm glad we know that about you.
Yeah.
Finland in a great position to hold this, though. The flux is going to be huge from Zappis. The Netherlands have to touch within 30 seconds if they can avoid getting overwhelmed.
Violence, momentum coming out here from the Netherlands. Great punch as well. Gravitic Flux from Zappis. It brings down Crusade. He was 77% to his ult.
So close to double support ult for Finland.
And here we have it. This is going to be one of the turning points. It's 17 seconds left in the game. Shaz comes out from the corner. Surprise, Peekaboo laying in the shots into them. The soundbite going to be used early on. Brewster, that's his time to shine. Opens up the ultimate, but RCK too quick in the back line. The meteor strike picks up 2. And Finland will hold on this corner. They will not fall today.
Wonderful performance by Finland with their ultimates. Apart from a couple of mistakes that happened early on point B, once they actually got to the end right next to the checkpoint, where it's the best location to defend from, they were sublime with their ultimate rotation and their target focus as well. The Netherlands never really got an opportunity to push with a large ult advantage. The fights which they committed to, Finland also had ults. And the picks just weren't coming for Facility. He's been a standout player, honestly, for the last year. Somebody that's really been rising throughout the contenders scene. So far in this match, we've yet to see a very large impact from the player that we know is capable of it.
Well, we'll see now. What the Netherlands are going to be doing is their turn to swap the sides around. They're going to be defending against the Finns as they're going to come knocking at the door, saying,
hello,
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 hello. Either that or a doorbell. We don't know yet. Have to inquire. We'll have to get some.
We'll get our insiders on it.
Post-game interview insiders.
Yeah.
These are the important questions that people want to know at the end of the day.
The Netherlands look like they're defending with a May Reaper setup, so they're not opting into a Bastion. They're keeping it kind of default.
Yeah.
And so far they've been good with these kind of setups. It's more Finland that I was expecting to rely on the Bastion. And if we see it on offense, I think they need the Sim to be able to put it in certain locations. Otherwise, the May Reaper will just chew it to pieces. This is actually quite a...
Okay,
right, yeah, they're now just going over to the Doomfist Reaper. So it looks like they were thinking about running that kind of comp, decided against it. In a straight-up match, Finland's comp, I think, is slightly superior, even with the Doomfist nerfs. But the May Reaper is just as effective on a map like King's Row, even perhaps more so.
See what the Finns, I should say, can do. Big rotation up to the high ground. Just going to try and bide their time a little bit. The Accretion sent out, blocked by the Sigma Shield. So not getting value out of that one. The Hulk pushing them forwards. Great Hulk punch. Connects onto Dan again. Dan's a little bit too late with this fortify, but it matters not. The Netherlands pick up the first kill into Massa, and it's a big one at that. There's no more speed boost available.
Cloudy is going very far aggressive and dragging the rest of his team forwards. And that's sometimes putting other players in danger.
Have it now. Coalescence is coming out from either team once again, just kind of giving each other a little hose. squeaky clean, all that business. You know how it goes. The healing orb is going to be topping up the rest of the Netherlands right now. Finland's just seems to be losing this war of attrition.
Yeah.
They're going to be relying a lot like RCK, getting these one-hit kills with the punches, as he just did on Jonah there. But when he dies in the fight, it's not ideal. Still, Shad working his way in the backline, going to teleport behind. Actually, no idea.
Did they not know he was
Okay,
there?
now they
Oh,
spot
surely.
him. Good,
Okay,
good.
Crusade looking out for the rest of his team, knows what's up.
We'll see though.
Zappis has been able to generate his ult very quickly, but as has Crusade, weirdly enough. A lot of the chip damage coming out from Zappis healed up by Crusade. Both of their ults generated at similar times. Oh, halt into the Meteor Strike! Halt into the Gravitic Flux.
Comes down,
Countered
but there
though.
we have it. He's got the soundbar. As he said, Crusade had already built it up, and as that was going on, the team, they just ran them down with a speed boost.
And when you see a Gravitic Flux play into a sound barrier, the team that uses sound barrier normally wins. Unless you have something else to conjure afterwards, just by the time they hit the ground, they still have some barriers on them. And at that point, if they use speed boost into you, you can't be holding aggressive positions.
Yeah.
So you can't win a team fight just with a Gravitic Flux if the other team has sound barrier.
Supercharger Coalescence now from the Netherlands. Tried and tested combo at that to see if they can get any value out of it. Cloudy falling very low. His shield gets bursted down, and it's going to be him falling at the end of the day. Facility finds another one, another pick, and the Netherlands, this hold is looking very clean in terms of the ult usage. I am very impressed.
Yeah. This is about the third time that Cloudy has died as the first pick in these team fights. And of course he's going to get focused because he's playing Orisa into a May Reaper composition. But he shouldn't be getting this focus. And the way in which he plays, he likes to plant himself in very forward positions.
Oh, it's going to be a free Gravitic Flux as well. Massive falls with the sound barrier. Another one team fight for them now. RCK did pick off Crusade, but...
Oh, RCK gets dance as well.
Still winnable for them. Maybe not. Jonah cleans up. And the thing is as well, you pick off Crusade, he was the one who died, he's going to be waiting this more for dance now as well. He's going to be ferrying him back with the speed boost. So even these picks that they might have got, not that big. They're going to have to hold a little bit further back if you're Netherlands right now. Finland are going to get some free space. And they do have ults to work with.
They certainly do. Oh, but another pick early on.
Jonah's
How is
phenomenal.
this happening? Jonah is just camping, honestly, in the hotel area. And RCK came knocking on his door, and Jonah said, hello.
Hello.
And just killed him.
Brought
There
him
have been so many early first picks here for Finland. They are falling to pieces. They're not scouting effectively, and they're not planting their tanks in the right place. And then sometimes Facility just hits crazy shots on Massa.
However, 30 seconds remaining. We're looking at 6 ults online also Finland now. We're going to see them come together. The aggressive plays by the Netherlands. They want to bring the fight to them already. The Supercharger gets taken out, but Cloudy is the one to strike first. Healed up for the rest of his team. Netherlands playing this very patiently, backing up. Gravitic Flux gets sent up. Crusade was 5% away from the sound barrier. Not good enough. Couldn't build it up in time. And Finland will easily be able to take this point. But the amount of ultimates they had to invest into it to take it is just ridiculous.
Yeah, that was literally a 6 ult to 1 ult fight. And that's what it required for Finland to take point A. Even though they set themselves up for a great win condition, all they need to do is capture point A and a little bit into point B.
Yep.
To be fair, nearly towards the end. But it's super winnable for them. And yet, right now on the attack, it's not looking good.
It's not over just yet. Plenty of opportunities for Finland to try and push this all the way in. And again, I mean, they have set themselves up for a very good position. The trouble is, those 2 minutes is all they have to try and make it work. Now, the Netherlands are setting up positioning all over the place. They're already at the choke point. Dance is going to get pressured down. Waiting for a shield to come off cooldown. He's going to place it down now with the rest of his team. Coalescence is used with a wall. Ida May is brought up just in response. Out of Death Blossom from Jonah. Look at that. Facility brings down Zappis. And again, a 1-for-1 trade. Jonah gets taken out. So a lot of damage missing now for the Netherlands. May Ice Wall going to be used off aggressively, just trying to separate the rest of Finland. And they're going to be falling just like that. The healing orb not quite there. Not quite there in time just to keep Dance up. He's going to fall.
That's a pretty key pick, though, honestly, from Shaz, because now the whole of the Netherlands have to fall back. They can't hold that aggressively without their Orisa player. They just don't have the shields available. Unless they want to commit 100 ultimates to the fight and hope they win. But surely not. They have to back up. Oh.
Okay, great accretion coming out actually from Zappis there. He finds a pick onto Facility.
But why were they holding so far forward, Bren? They needed to back up. They had lost their Orisa player, and now with Facility down, all of this free push from Finland. They're close to that golden box of victory, and they've not really taken a proper fight on point B.
1 minute. That's two team fights at best. The Superchargers laid down early. Netherlands have no choice but to re-engage with this, their own Supercharger. RCK finds the first pick onto Bruce and Zappis as well. Finland are so close to taking this one now. Those 2 picks have opened it up massively. Crusade dies with the sound barrier. The one ult that could have potentially saved all of this.
Blizzard is in though. If there's got to be one ult that saves it, it has to be that one. But it's only Cloudy that's stuck
Cloudy
inside.
doesn't get caught with a barrier. Jonah brings out RCK. This is still winnable for the Netherlands. They're working their magic right now. The Flux, I don't think, connects onto anyone. Shaz gets cancelled out of the Death Blossom, and the Netherlands are doing it.
They've just managed to get their players in position. Brusson with the damage to take down Zapdos as well. And Finland with only 3 players left and 20 seconds? How does this always come down to the final moments? And
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And we've got 10 seconds remaining. That's all Finland have to try and contest this point.
No major ultimates. Zappe within touching distance, perhaps, of a Coalescence, but nothing else.
Cloudy switches over to the ball, gets shut down immediately, has to use the adaptive shields. Massa goes down. It's going to be a lack of speed boost. No more engages or disengages for them. Jonah moving forward with the Hellfire shotguns, and Death Blossom gets used defensively onto the point, enough to bring down Cloudy. At least Shaz falling so low, right from the high ground. The Coalescence might be the saving grace for Finland, but I think it's too little, too late, as the Netherlands are just coming right out on top. And that's going to be the second map in this series going their way. The Netherlands with a 2-0 lead against Finland. Unreal.
What a strange but amazing performance that we're seeing today from both of these teams, but the Netherlands in particular. There have been so many clutch plays in this series so far, and we are only 2 maps in. I do not see a world in which Finland get 3-0'd by the Netherlands. This can't be allowed to happen, surely.
It's absurd.
They've got to rally themselves for the next one. This would be a monumental upset. Finland not making the top 10 at an Overwatch World Cup. Netherlands have been rated by many as a dark horse. Other teams, like Team Russia, some analysts as well, pointing to them, putting respect on these players' names. But generally speaking, this is not a team that's star-studded. They're not full of Overwatch League talent. Finland are.
Yeah. A lot of Overwatch League players on the side of Finland. And we are potentially going to our last map of the night. It's going to decide a lot here. The Netherlands 2-0 up in this series. Short break. And I promise you, it would only be a couple of minutes. This is a brand promise, so you know it's true. But we'll be right back. Now, I know I said a few short minutes. I lied. Finland needed to use the restroom. You know, it happens from time to time. And maybe they're going to blame that last map on that.
I think going to the restroom is a thinly veiled. We need to get together, put the brain trust in motion, and figure out
talk
what
about
the
this.
heck is going on here.
Yep. I mean, it's actually an esports classic.
Yeah, it
Teams
really
going
is.
to the bathroom, talking about the strats, saying what actually just happened here. Well, the third map we're going to be going to is Dorado. We'll see if the bathroom break actually assisted in helping Finland come out on top here. Since we swapped the overlays around, you can see.
I'm sure they'll get fixed in just a moment.
Absolutely, yeah. The Netherlands impressing more and more. Suddenly, the claim by Russia, calling them the real dark horse of the Overwatch League, or for the Overwatch World Cup, I should say, is really given a lot of credit, and I think people coming into this, they were expecting, Iceland to be a bit more of a dark horse team. Other teams, not necessarily the Netherlands, not one that you would think as a team to really compete with a lot of the top caliber teams, but here they are, one map away from knocking out Finland.
Huge performance. If they were able to do it in a clean sweep, that would be bananas. We already had Denmark 3-0 over Australia in Group A of our tournament. That was a surprise that the series was that dominant. Are we going to get a similar level of repeat here? Well, it's Finland starting out with this Farah Bastion composition that in theory works so well, but in practice just ended up getting deleted by Facilities Farah and Jonah's Hanzo.
Yes. And I mean, you can see it's the Netherlands. They're playing the spam composition into them. They're using the Zenyatta, the Mercy, the Farah as well for the damage boosted rockets. I mean, a nice little flick there by RCK.
It puts a lot of pressure on RCK to force the fight. He has to find damage onto Tri-Spear or Jonah to be able to find these picks on players that in theory should be playing more exposed sightlines. But he also has to worry about Facility the entire time.
Yes, he absolutely does. And look at Jonah's angle. He's worked his way over the back wall, and he's now just spamming these arrows into the back line, building up so much of his ult charge, already on 50%.
What is Zappis doing out
They're
here?
so out of position. He's caught like a boy of his, I don't know, just his head in the sand, like an ostrich of some sorts, like a small child ostrich.
Maybe like an ostrich in the Antarctic. He's completely lost. He was mad out of position.
Out of there. I could not believe that.
But that just shows the chaos that the Netherlands positioning
That's
caused.
absurd.
Yeah,
they've taken point A for free.
Yep, totally for free, just with some smart positioning with their two poking DPS players. Jonah's flank forced the rotation, and the rest of Finland made the correct call. But Zappis, either because he hasn't scrimmed with the team as much, or because, they're just not an actual team, didn't rotate around at the right time. A communication issue that means that point A is no longer defended even slightly. And Shaz now goes over to the Widowmaker, where actually, not a meme, he's actually really good on Widowmaker.
Yes, I mean, Shaz's DPS is renowned. He might be playing the support.
But you are playing Widow
League.
into two shields.
Not ideal, but I think the targets he's hunting for are not behind those shields in the first place. He's going to be trying to go for the Fire Mercy. You can see Facility up in the air, and there you go, damage boost, body shot. That's all you need, ladies and gentlemen. Takes him down easy enough. At least that's what I tell myself in my ranked games. And going for the shots onto the Mercy as well. Crusade just about gets out of there. Still has the Valkyrie popped. Another body shot. That's all you need. Now, Finland are really able to defend this one.
Crusade going for the Neptuno play.
Netherlands need to think about swapping over this composition now. Because it's all well and good running this poke composition into these bunker compositions, running the Baptiste and the Bastion, for example. But it doesn't quite work in practice. Jonah, are you
ready?
Oh,
come on.
I thought he was about to match him.
Oh, that would have been so entertaining to see a Widowmaker-Farah duel. Yeah. But instead, the Netherlands are going to go to the tried and true. They go to the May Reaper composition that's been working very well for them before. They can have those May walls to block off sight lines, find players, isolate them. They're trying to run over the tanks on the ground, and Shaz goes back to spawn and swaps the Bastion immediately.
Okay, all right. They still want to continue this kind of composition. Reasonable. Not to say that the May Reaper can't deal with it.
An attempt there at the Halt and the Rock, but it doesn't quite work. And now Team Finland have to play behind the payload, push it up as far as they can, and then find some angles to execute onto Shaz.
Setting it up right now. I mean, the Halt doesn't really connect onto the Fire Mercy like the Netherlands were expecting, but oh my word, Shaz just laying in the damage. Supercharger actually quite unnecessary there. Shaz has already got 2 kills before it really even went down.
Yeah. That might be something that they miss in a later fight, but it's not going to be too pivotal for the upcoming, because Finland now have to find a way of getting their players in a position where they can jump on Shaz from close range. If you have to approach a Bastion, you will almost always lose, because on the run-up, he just does so much damage.
Yep.
But if Finland can work their way around the back, or around the back and underneath, they will be almost right on top of him.
Now, there's a couple of opportunities here. As you can see, the Netherlands are rotating underneath them. So this is clever. You're going to be trying to force the positioning of the Team Finland to try and work their way around.
That Orisa barrier, not the best.
Okay, it's not fantastic from Dan, and the spam as well. You can really see they're hurting from it. RCK is going to be taking Icicle, but backs off.
That's a much better Orisa shield.
Yes, yeah, not going to be taking unnecessary spam damage. But what is the game plan right now from the Netherlands? They need to try and force them back. Jonah, very low, has to use his Wraith form to back out of there.
Yeah, the game plan at the moment is to set up a position underneath and just keep pushing the payload and spamming the Pharah Mercy. Either they're looking for a pick on the Pharah Mercy or free push on the payload. Jonah's just going to keep doing this and rotating around and seeing if he can get free push.
They've
and
worked their way
trying
around
to
the
drag
back,
Shaz down.
Ults are coming online. We have the barrage for RCK. He finds a kill, doesn't actually need it just yet. The rockets are more than good enough.
The Blizzard is used when they're 3 alive?
Questionable, very, very questionable. They do get a kill into Shaz here. Opportunities, though, for a Resurrect available to them. Zappis with the Gravitic Flux manages to get 2. He catches Facility a little bit earlier with his primary fire. Caught out Trispia. The Netherlands need to rethink their strategy of how they're approaching this one, and we do see a pause. Maybe another restroom break. Maybe.
One of
Who
those
knows?
tactical pauses.
Yeah.
I don't think so. There must be something technical going on here, but what an interesting little back and forth that we've had so far just on Dorado.
Absolutely.
You know, that crazy break on point A, where the Netherlands just put Jonah in a position and then got it for free. They push forward, get countered by a Widowmaker and fire a little bit, but then switch straight back over to the May Reaper and end up forcing a swap out of Finland as Shaz goes back over to the Bastion. They've got the right idea. That's what I like, is that by playing underneath, the Bastion can't look all the way down. It's like the opposite of a dog. Dogs can't look up, Bastions can't look down.
Isn't it pigs that can't look up?
No, pigs can look up.
It's definitely pigs that can't look up.
No, pigs can definitely look up.
I don't think they can.
Well, otherwise...
It's definitely pigs that can't look up, I think.
Are you telling me pigs have never seen how lovely clouds look?
They've never seen
They've never seen a
Josh.
sunset.
And this is the true
Pigs have never seen the stars.
This is the tragedy of our time. The pigs,
Oh, my
they don't know
word.
what they're missing up there, you know? I'm pretty sure it's pigs. It could be dogs. Who knows? I mean, add us on our social media at Braincast, at Sideshow Gaming if you want to find out why, or if you want to tell us the answers as well. Also, don't forget to follow us. Might as well plug it at the end. As we wait for this break to finish up. Now, we don't really know what the ETA is, I'll be honest. And actually, I tell a lie, it's the game's happening.
Yep, the game's
so
happening right now.
We are live back again, unpaused.
So, the Netherlands are going to try the same kind of stuff again. They're going to work their way around underneath and have one player on the payload. That's the best way of breaking this hold. And then you try and halt and get picks on RCK or Massa, or you just get the free push on the payload and drag the Bastion down. This is a little ambitious.
The Ice Wall is going to force the positioning of a Shaz, though, so now he has even more high ground. A Supercharger instantly taken out by RCK. A lot of cart progress, though. Now the Gravitic Flux sends Finland up in the air, sends them straight back down again. Tank mode by Shaz. Pushed out, but the Netherlands are taking this fight regardless. Crusade with 2 kills. The chip damage from across the map, finishing off a lot of these players. And
Yep.
I mean, I'll be real with you. That is actually not fantastic play from Finland.
Well, I think, though, that really was wonderful play by the Netherlands. So what they did was they played the cart at the bottom, put the May wall in position on both shields. They rushed the cart and nearly completed. That forces Cloudy to drop to the point and contest, and then they use the sound barrier and overwhelm Cloudy and lift the Gravitic Flux to just stop the rest of Finland actually contesting. Really nicely planned engagement by the Netherlands. Oh, a sleep! A halt into a sleep onto RCK, but it's not quite enough.
Oh my god, the damage being put into the Netherlands right now. They are in the danger zone here. Crusade eats the rocket, and he's going to go down as well. His next target, Trispia, eats one. One more will do it. Fade away, RCK almost hit that one. Very, very near. Finland, however, though, the rest of the team is going to be able to win this ground war, pushing ahead with the damage and the tank advantage that they had.
I love that Trispear is going for these ambitious, sleeps and biotic grenades. Yeah. He actually hit a biotic grenade on RCK when he was barraging a couple of fights ago. It didn't make any difference in the fight, didn't bother calling it out, but he actually found the kill. Yeah, very fun. I love to see it. You know, you got to try and style on your opponents a little bit in the World Cup.
Well, I absolutely agree with that. You know, it's a celebration at the end of the day, celebration of how dominant you are over the enemy team in some cases. Hope pulls Netherlands all together. RCK taking a ton of damage, but so are the Netherlands. Bionade onto Cloudy. He gets brought down. No heals will save you there. Facility. Actually, very, very clean so far.
I believe that was another sleep onto RCK as he used the barrage. I believe that was Trispear that blocked the barrage from getting a couple of kills.
Clinical.
Huge play by him. The Ana just has his number. He knows that his job is to put slight pressure on that Pharah and hit the sleep darts when required.
Opportunity to finish now with a little bit of time. Doesn't really make too much of a difference, but they have 20 seconds remaining. Ultimates to use. They have a sound barrier. They have a supercharger. They have the Death Blossom on the side of the Netherlands. Let's see what they make use of then. As the Coalescence is going to come out on the opposition. Again, Zupe focuses down the Supercharger. He knows that's the priority target. Take away the damage boost, and suddenly their ability to win is much less, but say that to Basility's face. You can't, because it's got an icicle sticking out of it. As he takes Zappis out of it regardless. Trispear healing up his team. You know, what the hell? He just gets a kill regardless of it as well. In the overtime, it looks like the Netherlands are going to be able to cap this. They get the 3 checkpoints.
And even with Jonah's whiffed Death Blossom at the end there, just an overwhelming advantage with the sound barrier and with the supercharger. The Netherlands roll their way through, despite Finland throwing an array of strategies at them. Both of these teams, we're starting to get in the upper echelon here of World Cup teams, and you can see a proficiency with a bunch of different strats that have been tailored to Dorado. You know, the opening with Bastion, the counter with the poke comp, a variety of different compositions where we rotated through stuff like the Widowmaker and the May Reaper. Both of these teams know what comps to play and how to counter them. It comes down to execution and outplaying your opponent.
What do you think it is this time?
I think that Fraggy wandered over and asked for opinions on his beard. And Zappis decided that since he hasn't seen him in a while, since he got shipped off to the Guangzhou charge,
time to catch up.
Yeah, had to get a little catch up. So they probably got some Finnish tea. I don't know what Finnish people do in their spare time.
I think they fish.
Well, they certainly haven't gone fishing.
They fish and they complain about the cold. Is all I know.
They complain about the cold. Actually, Taimu does complain about the cold.
The Finnish complain about the cold a lot. I mean,
what are they doing? Complaining all the time?
Well, no, because the summer is actually lovely in Finland.
Is it really?
Have you ever seen Taimu's stories of when he's in his homeland in the summer? It looks wonderful. He's riding around on ATVs and roaming the countryside like a full-on K-Kona, you know, but Finnish version.
A Finnish K-Kona.
It's fantastic, yeah.
That's
It
phenomenal.
looks like great fun, but
yeah.
Apparently the weather in the summer in Finland and a lot of the Scandinavian countries, I mean, people just think that they're just frozen tundras year-round. It's not the case. They are actually very lovely.
Yes, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Finnish people, quite reserved in their nature.
Some of them, not all of them. I find that Finnish people tend towards the extremes.
Yes, yes, actually.
You know, a lot of them are quite reserved and very, you know, classically Scandinavianly stoic.
Very
but a
quiet,
lot of them are...
or they never shut up. There's 2 switches, really, with a lot of Finns.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Big fan, big fan.
Now, the Netherlands, on the other hand,
yes,
that's a group of lads you wouldn't want to meet in an alley. Look at those mean mugs.
They do. They look like they're absolutely mean mugging you.
Yeah.
They look like what do you call it? It's like a dance fight. What are those?
A dance fight?
In musicals, you know what I mean? Where they're in the streets.
Dance-off?
A dance-off. Sure, but it's kind of a fight, right?
Like a dance, like a boy band. They look like a boy band that's about to have a dance-off.
They look like a boy band, but a boy band made up of like gangsters from Chicago.
I don't think you've ever been to Chicago. I'm gonna be
I
real.
certainly have.
Gangsters from Chicago.
Yeah,
Why Chicago?
Well, I don't know. Just
the first city that pops into your head. The windy city, huh?
Just got the Chicagan look about them.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, yep. Ginger haired lads. Yep. From Chicago, of course.
Sure. Why not? Why not? Did you actually see the Netherlands managed to get the voice actor for Sigma, who I believe is Dutch?
He's Dutch.
Did a promotional piece for them where he was talking, you know, in his Sigma voice, wishing them good luck and going through stuff. Yeah, it was awesome.
I tell you what, I love when the voice actors from Overwatch, they cross over into this like esports sphere.
Yes,
because we're all kind of interconnected at the end of the day, but we don't really get to cross over that much.
Yeah.
But there's always a good time, like when we get voice actors when they were, when we had the Blizzard Arena, when they visited that, and when they would do these promotional pieces. Yeah. I love that. I love that they get involved.
Last BlizzCon was opened by the Reinhardt voice actor as well.
Yes,
absolutely lovely guy. We'll see what Overwatch has planned this year as well.
I'm sure nothing special.
All
That's a
right,
joke,
let's
by the
take a
way.
look
That's
then.
joke.
On defense, the Netherlands, utilizing this May Reaper composition, it has been their default when they've gone to the defense. It was very, very effective for them when they were playing King's Row. It's almost as effective here on Dorado, I would say. There are ways to counter it, for sure, but the May wall is very powerful in that choke point.
Not gonna lie, yeah. I mean, early on in the game's history, people didn't know how to bait out the May ice wall.
Yes.
I mean, this is interesting by itself. Look at this
Yeah.
forward positioning that they're holding in. But real quick, I climbed a master very early on, just abusing May and choke points with the ice wall.
Yeah.
Because people didn't know how to play around it.
Of course.
Times change, people get better at the game, obviously, and now I am Garbo at the game.
Well, the Netherlands holding on top of red, and they've just been scattered to the wind.
That's the worst possible position to be in right now. RCK with a concussion blast takes them to the ground. They have to rotate to this little inner corridor. Set up in the house with the little shields.
This setup is actually pretty good, though, with a May Reaper composition, because you can use the May walls to block it off once too much damage comes in, and you can contest the cart from inside the house, but Brusson does fall.
Okay, the great opening pick right now for Finland, and Lord knows they need it. Pumping in the damage, RCK is almost close to his barrage. Very, very close, in fact. He's about 10% away. Hitting off some great rockets onto Jonah. Forces out the Ray form once again. And, I mean, the damage boosted rockets, it writes itself. But, I mean, an ambitious attempt nonetheless. Still, Finland are going to be able to push this cart round the corner. But a not terrible scenario for the Netherlands, as weird
50
as that is
seconds.
to say.
50 seconds
You
ticked off the
burnt
clock.
a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. You burnt a minute before the first archway. That's a good defense at the moment from the Netherlands. And they'll be back in a position to fight somewhere around Fountain. They won't be able to contest the archway first time, but they can get another fight here.
Hull going to be used here. Not really synergizing with much, but RCK's rockets, and he's already up to 50% of his ultimate. Zap is his little primary fire. The orbs come out, the hyperspheres.
Wow, that is just huge. The Netherlands losing somebody as they came in, that's disastrous for them. Because they were hoping to get another fight here, another engagement before Finland get their ultimates up.
They're rolling.
And reset. And instead, you're right, Finland are just rolling through. All of the momentum for them now.
Haven't even needed any ultimates.
No.
Like, ideal scenario for Finland right now.
Yeah.
Especially given the kind of, quite close, but also disappointing first two maps for them. We see Netherlands utilizing the coalescence, trying to retake this point, get a bit more positioning away from them. RCK is having a wild time right now on the far. The Hull pulls him down. It's not going to be taking that much damage, though, and the Netherlands are forced to back off.
There was a supercharger used there for Cloudy, and Netherlands have just kited it, essentially. But they don't really have many other ultimates, and this barrage could be huge!
What a halt into the barrage! Good night! Sweet Prince Truspear brought down, but Brewson follows up with another little counter-attack of his own. Still, the cart will move forward. Finland in an ideal position, despite the fact that they, did end up using 3 of these ultimates, didn't get maximum value out of the supercharger. They have 4 minutes on the clock, and are looking like they're going to be able to push this, at least to a reasonable degree, up to B.
Yeah, they'll get this first push here, but unless RCK can do a lot in the neutral fight, the Netherlands have so many ultimates that they can just speed boost engage and get a lot done. RCK has to get so much damage.
Oh my word, RCK!
The halt into the concussion is huge. It disrupts the Netherlands' positioning absolutely and means they get almost no value out of their speed boost.
One of the highest value concussion blasts I've seen so far this tournament, and Finland, I mean, they're just absolutely rolling over the Netherlands. Their plan has been torn asunder so far. Cloudy, though, gets the rock in a hard place against the ice wall. It's going to be frozen up. Still kept alive by the rest of his team. Brewson, though, brought down, has the flux, didn't use it. So they still have that available to them.
What a wonderful defensive Death Blossom for Shaz. Cloudy was frozen up and about to die, and Shaz walked in front of him and Death Blossomed, not only tanking the damage, but ensuring that there is an area where nobody can go to. A genuine, literal zoning Death Blossom, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
You don't see them very often. I mean, you do on my stream.
Yeah, you
but
do
you
on
don't
Sanchez
see them
stream.
in pro play very often.
Well, we'll see. RCK has been getting a lot of value out of this fire, almost too much, I would say. The Netherlands seem to be adamant on running this May Reaper composition. Not ideal, obviously. Not a lot of range to deal with it. The Halt comes out, connects onto one of them.
Halt rock.
That's what you want to see. More of that. The Halt rocks, the accretions syncing up a lot of these abilities. They bring them down. They burn the Resurrect. That's 30 seconds without it now. Facility finds the pick onto Shaz, and this might be where the Netherlands finds their footing.
Rock!
Brewson, you absolute legend of the sport.
Holy moly, Brewson is tearing them apart. The first one set up by a wonderful halt from Duns, but the second one just out of nowhere. just knocks him straight out of the air.
Salvaged this entire defense, actually, coming out of it. I mean, if RCK got the maximum value of that barrage, they would have been pushing into the final checkpoint right now as we speak. Still a long way to go, though, for Finland. For the Netherlands, I should say, before. I mean, Finland have 3.5 minutes to push into this final checkpoint. A lot of time. That's why RCK has made the switch over to the Doomfist now. Much better composition for trying to battle into it. As you can see, already picked up a kill here onto Dan's.
The Blizzard goes down, attempting to secure the fight. A lot of engagements happening over in the Mega Room, over to the right-hand side of your screen. Cloudy just trying to find a position, but after he uses the Fortify,
slams it down. Bruson! You can't keep getting away with this, lad. Two kills, secures the defense. He's so good, he's so good, he's so good.
I heard that,
add Bruson to the list of players I'm practicing with this summer. Holy moly.
But they have managed to force out 2 huge ultimates. 3, in fact. This aggression's fantastic, but all it does is buy time. And with 2.5 minutes still left to play, Finland are going to get in a position where they have enough ults to force their way through. This position is not defensible for the entirety of the duration for the Netherlands. They will lose a fight and they will have to recontest. That's when it matters. Finland are in a position now where they can look to make an engagement, but they are playing into double support ult, so it still isn't a gimme.
Shaz very close to the Death Blossom now, going to be working his way. He's actually teleported into the backline. The Coalescence has traded sustain and damage for both of these teams. It's anyone's game at this point. The damage is being laid into them. A lot of work being put in right now by the Netherlands. Still no casualties though. Finland in a position to try and retake this one out. Crusade holding onto this sound barrier because he's waiting for the Flux. Ends up using it prematurely to try and save them. And now we see the Supercharger and the Gravitic Flux being used by Finland. This absolutely should be their team fight to take, but not if Bruson can help it. Tries to clutch it up in the end, but his team have all come tumbling down around him. And the best he can do is try and die on the car just to stall it out as much as he possibly can. Now, take a look at the ult advantage and situation right now for the Netherlands. Not terrible, not ideal.
Well, it's actually, it's pretty decent. If the Netherlands player... If Bruson in particular, honestly, can force out this sound barrier from Massa, and then they kite effectively, they can try an engagement with the Death Blossom.
Oh my word.
It's up to Bruson and Jonah.
Oh, RCK from up on high brings down Facility. Plays like that are really what separates a lot of these plays. Bruson was an inch away from getting his Gravitic Flux, trying to get cancelled there. Massa comes back out with the sound barrier though. Going to try and counteract it. The hull comes together into the uppercut. Dan sent flying. The Fortify comes out a little bit later. Now Jonah with the zoning Death Blossom. Not quite zoning because he got the work done.
Yeah, and they haven't even had to use this Supercharger. I was convinced that Dan's was going to burn it here with 50 seconds left, but he holds on to it, and the Finnish players have nothing. There's RCK might get his ultimate up, but apart from that, it's nothing at all. And Netherlands, that Supercharger is one of the best ults in the game.
Exactly, and Finland, they've been committing their Coalescence almost every time to bringing it down. Zupe always prioritizes it in these team fights. They do not have access to it this time. It's going to be on Shaz, it's going to be on RCK to try and bring it down so that the Netherlands just don't run all over them. And the Hulk comes out. Jonah holding casually, quietly, waiting around the corner. Predator seeking his prey for the night, the meal to go into his belly. He wants to go into the next round of games tomorrow. Kinetic Grass going to be used defensively by Finland here to try and hold on. Dan's uses the Supercharger. Finland try to kite them around the corner. The pressure is not being laid down by the Netherlands. And now Finland, they come in for the counter-attack.
The Supercharger is about to expire as well, and Crusade nearly died, but they've got double support ult for the Netherlands. They can sustain this.
Super winnable for Finland, though. Facility gets the punch off. RCK collects the kill onto him. Absolutely winnable for them. Few of the players around the corner, they just don't really have the heals to contest this fight that much further.
And Crusade has his ultimate up as well. The Netherlands can keep sustaining. Ult comes in, reply from Crusade, and Crusade finds a pick on RCK.
Gravitic Flux from Zapis should seal the deal here, as we see Shaz using the Death Blossom. Only gets a singular kill out of it. Now the Gravitic Flux comes out. There will be no defense whatsoever, but Jonas comes back into the backline. The zoning Death Blossom once again. Massa will fall.
Shaz as well, all down. Zapis stunned up, knocked back by Facility.
Still looks tough. Oh my word! The Gravitic Flux pulls them away from the point, and the Netherlands win the third map.
A 3-0 destruction of one of the most powerful Nordic teams that we have in this tournament. The Netherlands with a wonderful upset to finish the first day of the BlizzCon World Cup in 2019.
Nobody predicted this, and if you did, I'd like to shake your hand, because I give you the title of the Oracle now, son. I mean, That was an astounding series, but what was more astounding was that Finland ended up losing in a 3-0 fashion. Netherlands move forward into the group stages. They're going to be joining into Group B with Canada, China, Denmark, and of course, Russia as well, I believe. Now, this is an absurd ending for the final match of the preliminary series that we've seen so far. I mean, truly, truly absurd. And
Yeah.
what a fantastic way to end the night as well.
Yeah, enormous upset there, honestly, for the Netherlands. The fact that they're able to come out on top there is honestly astounding. And they go into a Group B, which to me seems like they can make big upsets. You look at the games that we've got going on tomorrow. We've got a round robin with Canada, and that's Canada without XQC on main tank for the first couple of games. That's Canada with Mangachu on main tank.
Yeah.
That's a much weaker Canada. You've got China in there as the classic force to be reckoned with. But then you have Denmark, Russia, and then the Netherlands. These are three teams where I'm not sure who's going to come out on top. Russia have looked pretty decent. They managed to take out Germany, but then Denmark, they've looked strong, and Netherlands just 3-0'd Finland.
I mean, the Netherlands are going to be feeling good off the back of this. The Group B is realistically anyone's game. We can see some crazy matches come out of that bracket in the end. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for all of the games of the preliminary matches of the 2019 Overwatch World Cup. My name is Bren. I've been joined by Sideshow. We hope you've enjoyed our casting. It's been, rusty at times, I will admit. Just getting back into the swing of things. But we will see you tomorrow as well for even more matches and, of course, the opening ceremony of BlizzCon. We do hope you'll join us. Until then, we will see you tomorrow.
The 2019 Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by T-Mobile. Their newest signal goes farther than ever, and it's built 5G ready. Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch World Cup. And by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch World Cup.
Ils arrivent pour le deuxième point, mais ils peuvent encore passer. Oh, c'est fait! Le double kill à domicile!
Last 2 years, I represent France. It's a huge honor for us.
Là où personne ne nous voit.
When esport was recognized in the US or in Korea, it wasn't in France.
Unbelievable!
3 now for Soon!
It's not representing a team, it's representing a nation, and there's a ton of people watching you because they are French and they want us to win.